welcome to the channel. Today we are going to discuss one of the hardest mate in 3 puzzle. Just pause the video and give it a try yourself. It is why to play and win in 3 moves. If you didn't get, just resume and watch the solution. If you observe the position of this black king, then you can realize that it is in the corner of the chessboard. First let's try to understand the escaping squares the black king have. The black king have g3 and king into h1 as the escaping squares. One thing if you observe, if we play queen to b8 and give the check to the black king, it may be checkmate if the bishop on the h1 has support. So the bishop has no support, so the king will capture the h1 and it will move there. So that is wrong directly to keep the queen to b8. But we got a idea that okay, if the bishop on the h1 is supported by any of the piece, then there is a chance that we can bring the queen and checkmate diagonally. So that's the logic behind this. So now how to support this h1 bishop? Let's think in that way. First, let's play rook to e1. Rook to e1 is the first move of this puzzle. Why rook to e1? The idea is if there is no knight on this g1 square, we are trying to protect the h1 bishop and then there is a chance for us to checkmate. So that's the idea. Okay, the idea is good, but why he will move the knight? He has black has many choices. Here black have nearly 5 to 6 choices. Let's see one by one. Knight to e2, knight to f3, king captures the bishop. He can push the f6 pawn as well, and he can move the king to g3. So these are all the squares the black can move. Now, what we can think from the white? So whatever he plays, the idea is to bring the queen into the game and do the checkmate. Let's see one by one variation quickly. So the first variation is knight to e2. If you play knight to e2, rook into knight, and the king has two escaping squares, and if he captures the bishop, queen to a1 checkmate. That's it. And if king moves to g3, again the same. We will give the queen to e5 check, and if that is the checkmate as he cannot move to any other square. And also the next move after rook e1, if you play the knight to f3. If you play the knight to f3, the idea is simple again. You can just play queen to b8 check, and the only move is to block with the knight. If knight blocks, queen into knight checkmate, because the rook is supporting the bishop and he cannot capture the bishop now. So the only move is the knight. If knight plays, queen into checkmate. Okay, now the two moves completed. Knight to f3 and knight to e2. Now what if king captures the h1 bishop? If king captures the h1 bishop, then queen to g8. Another waiting move. The idea is to capture the knight. So definitely black will support the knight by pushing the h2 pawn. Now we can simply play queen to a8 and it is a checkmate. Okay, now after playing rook to e1, three moves completed. Knight f3, knight e2, and king into h1. Now let's see what if we play f6. If he pushes the f6 pawn, you can play queen into h4. The idea is to checkmate on the f2 or checkmate on the f4. But one thing you need to look into is king captures the bishop. Here all the pawns of the black are blocked. Only he can move his knight and the king. If he moves his knight, then we'll simply play queen to f2 checkmate, and if he captures the bishop, then queen into h3 checkmate. As the knight is in the pin, knight cannot capture the queen and it is a checkmate. Okay, so that's it. So if he pushes the f6, this is what it is going to be happen. Now, what if we play king to g3? If we move the king to g3, again we are using this diagonal by placing the queen on e5 and giving the check. The king moves to f2 and queen to e3 checkmate. So these are all the variations black can able to play, and whatever the variations black play, white can do the checkmate and win the game. That's it. Thank you for watching.